So you're thinking about moving to Tennessee, huh? It's a popular thought these days, but it usually comes with a huge question. Do you go for the big city buzz of Nashville or the more mountain town vibe of Knoxville? They're both booming, for sure, but in really different ways. In this explainer, we're going to dig in and see which city might actually be the right fit for you. And that's really the core of it, isn't it? This is so much more than just picking a spot on a map. It's about choosing a whole new pace of life. Are you someone who thrives on that nonstop energy you get in Nashville? Or are you looking for something a bit more balanced, like what Knoxville seems to offer? So let's kick things off with the one thing that, let's be honest, affects everything else: money.
All right, first things first, let's talk about the factor that can make or break a move for pretty much anyone: your wallet. And we're not talking about some abstract economic report here. We're talking about the financial differences you'll actually feel every single day.
And, the source material we're digging into here, it is crystal clear on this. Forget culture, forget traffic for just a second. The number one biggest, most in-your-face difference you're going to feel is the cost of living. And that one thing changes everything else.
This right here really lays out the two different worlds you're stepping into. In Knoxville, the source points to a much more balanced housing market. Think steady growth, lower home prices, and just more options at prices that feel reasonable. Now, Nashville, that's a full-on boomtown, and that means higher prices, a ton of new construction, and some seriously intense competition if you're trying to buy. So you really have to ask yourself, am I looking for stability, or am I ready to jump into a high-stakes market? And look, it goes way beyond just the mortgage or the rent. The source makes a big point about how all those everyday costs, from groceries and gas to childcare, and even just parking your car, really add up. The big takeaway here is that your dollar just stretches further in Knoxville, and that has a huge impact on your quality of life, every single day.
Okay, so that cost of living difference, it leads right into our next big topic: pace and commute. Because it's not just about the cost of living, it's about the cost of your time. Let's take a look at what the daily grind of just getting around is like in each city.
I love how this source material puts this. It's not just about traffic. It's a choice between peace of mind and big city energy. That really gets to the heart of it, right? It's not about one being better than the other, but about what kind of environment fuels you. Do you get energized by the hustle and bustle, or do you kind of need a calmer daily routine to thrive? Now, check this out. The source makes a pretty striking claim about Knoxville. You can get almost anywhere you need to go in about 15 to 25 minutes. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. Your commute, your trip to the grocery store, meeting up with friends, all reliably quick. For anyone out there who really values their time, that is an absolute game changer. And then you flip the coin and you've got Nashville. It's a major metro hub, and with that comes all the classic big city challenges. The source is pretty direct about this. Expect more traffic, plan for longer commutes, and yeah, parking can be a headache. That's just the trade-off you make for living in a city with that much going on. All right, so we've talked money, we've talked time, but what about, the vibe, the heart of a city? Let's talk about what it actually feels like to live there and be part of the community.
So, what's the feel in Knoxville? Well, the source paints this picture of a place that's all about community. It's described as a city with these really friendly, distinct neighborhoods, a ton of local pride, and a place where the entire city basically becomes one giant tailgate party on a football Saturday. The words that keep popping up are personal and grounded.
And Nashville? Totally different story. The vibe there is just electric. It's a city that's always on. It's a hub for creatives, there's always a concert to see, a new restaurant to check out. This is the place for someone who wants to be right in the middle of the action and thrives on that constant activity.
Okay, for our last big comparison point, this one is a huge deal, especially if you're an outdoorsy person. We're talking about access to nature. And when it comes to nature, the source is pretty blunt. It says, flat out, this is where Knoxville shines. Its location is so unique that the mountains and lakes aren't just something you visit on vacation, they can be part of your weekly routine.
And here's why that's such a big claim. We're not just talking about a few city parks. We're talking about having the Great Smoky Mountains, the most visited national park in the entire country, as your backyard. It means being surrounded by lakes and trails and all sorts of boating opportunities. For a lot of folks there, this isn't a special trip, it's just what they do on the weekend. And if you need a number to really drive this home, here it is, 30 minutes. According to the source, that's how long it can take to get from your desk at the end of the workday to a beautiful hiking trail. That's not just a nice little perk, that's a fundamental difference in how you can live your life. So we've hit all the big ones, right? Cost, pace, community, and the great outdoors.
Let's pull it all together now in one final side-by-side look to help you figure out where you might fit in.
So this is kind of the final scorecard. You've got Knoxville over here, which is all about affordability, tight-knit communities, and that amazing outdoor lifestyle. And then you've got Nashville, which is pure energy, endless entertainment, and that fast-paced city living. It really just comes down to which one of these columns gets you more excited.
So what's the final verdict from the source we've been looking at? It's actually pretty interesting. It argues that more and more people are choosing Knoxville because it offers this incredible balance. You get the fun stuff of a city, but with the affordability and amazing outdoor access of a smaller town. It makes the case that this is the balanced life that a lot of people are searching for right now.
And that really brings us back to the big question, the one that only you can answer. When you get right down to it, what do you value more? The nonstop buzz of a big city or the promise of a more balanced life? Thanks for tuning in for this explainer.